Hi, everyone. Today's Journal 42, which is the very last journal of my 2023 New Year's resolution series. And I'm going to read it now. I'll chat more after. Journal 42, first Arzox, day 13, 2023, nighttime. Suburban cult supplements. Hi, everyone. This is the final journal entry of my New Year's resolution and my last one on the topic of audiences. For now, anyway. Between this afternoon and this evening, I thought more about my book's borough and the population that might inhabit it. Older townsfolk, definitely. If there are any teens, they're way older than I was as a teenager. If I handed a young me this book and said, "You wrote this yourself in 25 years," I wouldn't enjoy it. Not until I developed more appreciation for the natural sciences and had a lot more practice struggling and coping. That was my first thought of the afternoon. Then I started contemplating our categorizations of age, YA, and the MPA film rating system, which has 5 classes: G, PG, PG-13, R, and NC-17. The lack of sensible gradations is weird. Are all cinematic experiences identical between barely teen and nearly adulthood? Wouldn't it make more sense to have PG-6, PG-7, PG-8, PG-9, PG-10, PG-11, etc.? After shrugging away further consideration, I thought about cults. During the Clinton administration, I used the expression, "It's a cult classic," to describe movies like Army of Darkness. During the Bush Jr. administration, I realized classic lacks an explicit definition. So I decommissioned the word and scoffed at those who didn't, e.g. namers of golf tournaments. It has a cult following, became my new description of Army of Darkness et al. For a while. But then I came to regard cult as simply a contraction of culture, as innocuous as pants from pantaloons. Having germinated from the same etymological seed, colère, its pejorative reputation seems unjust. Culture is seen as civilized, it is celebrated, but circumcise its and it morphs into a 4-letter slur. Its monosyllabic abrasiveness is barked in denigration. What I do is culture, what you do is a cult. Isn't it all the same, though? Isn't every council, congregation, and concert crowd a cult of a kind? Every fandom, from Beatlemania to Hulkamania, Madonna to Miyazaki, Trekkies to Tolkien scholars, every Pokemaster, anyone who has ever cosplayed at a Comic-Con or tailgated before a sports game, it's just a bunch of people seeking connection and belonging, whether they find those things with George Lucas's Galactic Empire or L. Ron Hubbard's Galactic Confederacy. What's the difference? Those are all the positive thoughts I had about cults. After thinking them, I returned to the subject of my book's borough and the demographic that might dwell there. And I decided my books are for travelers who aren't currently traveling. I think we're all explorers at heart. Just watch people search for a show on Netflix. The scrolling is the most riveting part, owing to the possibility of discovery. And then watch people when they finally decide on a show, they immediately lose half their interest. Alongside connection and belonging, adventure resides on the roster of emotional needs, but we can't all go Indiana Jonesing at the drop of a fedora. I used to. Every summer, I took students to Uganda. "I hope you like bizarre surprises." It's all you can really say to prepare them for the sensory overload. Then illness prevented me from going. That's a barrier for a lot of people. For others, it's finances or family commitments. There are infinity reasons people can't travel, but we still need our sense of adventure to be sated, which can be difficult to do from home. Look outside the window, and it's a vast expanse of concrete interspersed with geometric patches of grass and rows of houses so identical they appear inbred. That hardly nourishes our appetite for exploration. It's just isolating. But there's a good supplement to cure the pangs of deficiency: immersive fantasy literature. To me, this is the best escape we have from the inhumanity of thoughtless, feelingless, suburbia. Okay, that's number 42. I was using my MacBook microphone, so I just now switched it to this. I was wearing this for no reason, but so that's it. That's it for 2023. The whole year for me is now done. I accomplished everything I set out to do. Everything I wanted to do from day one is finished. In the context of the journal. In the context of the journal, I set out to write 7 entries in 3 days, and I did it. And then I had to put it away. It's like, I mean, it just takes all day. Writing 3 of these in one day, it doesn't take every hour in the day, but it consumes all of my attention. Like my daily dose, my daily allotment of attention is not very big. And doing 3 of these journals in one, it like that more than like I go into debt. And the next day I'm dug a little deeper. And so after 3 days, 7 journal entries, I had to put this thing aside so I could actually return to the book, which to me is much more important that I finish the book. I think any creative pursuit, I guess the journal is a creative pursuit too, but in terms of like the book, these creative pursuits really are, I think, our legacy. This is really what we leave behind in the way I see things, in the way I remember, or in the way that, like, if I go to a funeral, and I listen to what people say about the departed, or like the living can say it about the living too. If you're listening to people describe and praise and talk about the emotions of somebody, usually it's not like mundane daily tasks. They're describing like a to-do list. They're not describing items on a to-do list, like like a car ride somewhere. Oh, you took me to the airport, or like grocery shopping, or something. Like, oh yeah, you kept the cabinets full, or I don't like administrative tasks, like bureaucratic paperwork and stuff, or like, oh, I really remember how diligently he paid the phone bill. Like these aren't things that people, or shaving. Nobody's gonna like remember me after I'm gone about my shaving habits. I mean, or even like I would include letters of rec into this. I mean, the day is coming where I'll write my 700th letter of recommendation. And how many people remember that I wrote one? I mean, it's probably zero. At least, a year removed, it's going to be zero. People remember. And so we go through life doing thousands of hours of favors for people. You do it, I do it. I mean, this is like the bulk of human experience is just doing favors for people. And they're not, it's important, but they're not remembered. Those favors are not meaningful, emotional, important enough to like escape the hippocampus, So this, for me, at least, the things that my brain will assign cortical real estate to, like sort of a permanent memory to, are artistic, they're emotional, sort of sentimental and creative person. So growing up, I'm sure my parents took me like 100 times to baseball practice, gave me like 100 rides to baseball practices, and we're shopping and like for clothes and food and we're cleaning up after the house and me and whatever. And I just don't actually remember any of it. I know they did it, and I have vague memories of things, but I don't remember any of it clearly, explicitly. I can't recall. By comparison, I remember a drawing that my dad did when I was tiny. I perfect, and like I remember a drawing my mom did of me when I was tiny, also perfect clarity. My dad plays guitar. I remember just the sound and the feeling and like the reverberation of the guitar. And he wrote this song, and if I can close my eyes, I don't even have to close my ears, and I can hear every note of it, of the song. And I remember my mom's painting and my mom's piano playing, and my dad's woodworking. Growing up, my dad did a ton of woodworking, very artistic projects. And I remember all of them. I mean, I can see them and their detail and their edges. And those are the things that I remember. I don't remember a single car ride, So while those daily, like parenting is important, but the stuff, our legacy, the things people remember, or at least that's how my brain works, are creative pursuits. And so I'm going to get back to the book. I'm doing my creative thing now. And I hope the rest of your day is filled with creative memories, if not creative endeavors done by you. Okay, bye, everybody.